We made it! We're here, everybody. Hi.
It's happening. Happy Easter! I can't believe it's here already. It feels like it was only last year.
I'm already thinking about all my jokes for tomorrow. It's April's Fool's, so what am I gonna do,
Dude, you know that today, did you know that today is actually the last day of Women's Month as well?
Ugh, no, I didn't think about that.
It's Women's Appreciation Month, and tomorrow's April Fool's Day. I mean,
was it true?
I think they did a number on women. Like, we're going to honor women all month long, and then April Fools.
We gotcha.
It's not a nice joke. Happy Easter, Vegan Power Lab. Let's go! Epic
Hi, everybody.
3-hour takeover. Yeah, there's all this stuff going on. It's Easter.
Is anybody celebrating Easter? I'm not really. Are you, Sky?
I wanted to see they did a sunrise service at the Gulf Coast, and I wanted to go. It was 6:30 in the morning though, so I missed it. I was awake, but I wasn't going down there. And
I get it. I understand why.
But I went down there thinking there would still be people around. They weren't around. I kind of I did some activism today. I drove my chicken truck right up to the harbor, right up to the beach at the Gulf Coast, and nobody would talk to me. And I knew that was going to happen. All the restaurants are closed. I can't even drive my chicken truck to everything is closed, and everyone's with their family. And no one's going to talk to me with their family. I know there's some activists in the chat. Do families ever talk to you with like the kids running around? Like, oh, sure, let me talk to you about animal abuse or animal abuse. They don't talk to me, especially on Easter. They don't want to hear this shit. But a lot of people looked at my chicken truck. Fanny the Fat.
Taking my fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm listening to you guys. Sorry.
No, they looked at my chicken truck, but it was like they're probably eating eggs today.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sick of that stuff.
It's difficult because my family was celebrating today and they were having an egg hunt, and it was chocolate egg because it's Belgium. It's not real eggs, it's chocolate eggs. But it was hard to be like, yeah, how many eggs did you get? Because I do know all these eggs are not made with eggs, but they're made with milk. So it's like, so you try to be enthusiastic and you try to have a good relationship, but at the same time, you're just swallowing all your your frustration. So that's how I feel.
100%. I can't stand all of the. I just read 4 out of 5 rabbits bought as pets for Easter are abandoned or die within a year. Animals are not toys.
And I would assume, maybe I'm wrong, but I would assume that people who feel like if you adopt a dog and you want to abandon your dog, the good thing to do is to go to the shelter. But if you want to abandon a rabbit, you just put him in your backyard and he's going to be fine because they're sort of, I would assume that people do that. Same with chickens, that if they want to release them, they just put them in their backyard and be like, be free, like we do with spiders.
I guess they do that with spiders. They can do that with a rabbit, but won't a hawk or a coyote come and eat your rabbit?
That's the thing. No. I mean, if they want to release them, they want to get rid of them. They're just we can just return him to his, And I feel a lot of people are going to do that, and it's just going to be,
I can't even imagine doing that. Grumpy Vegan Granddad, I just sent him the invite on Instagram. He's going to be our random stupid questions today. I'm very excited about that. I can't even imagine abandoning an animal. I can't even imagine it. Like, say, like waving. Have you seen Harry and the Hendersons?
No, I don't know.
Oh, you would love Harry and the Hendersons. I cannot believe that Jess has not shown you Harry and the Hendersons.
Was it need a chat? Jess.
John Lithgow finds a Bigfoot. And he joins their family. It's like an 80s. That
sounds fun. I like everything that's like sci-fi or fantastic or like, yeah.
You would love it because it's like it's an 80s style comedy, but it's kind of like a sitcom. And I know you like it. Here, look at. I'll show you the poster. You're gonna love this. You're gonna love this shit. It'll make you laugh. Look at this. Look at this poster. Harry and look at him.
Oh my
Yeah, there he is. That's
god.
Harry.
Oh,
Harry
he's
and the
cute.
Harry and the Hendersons. There's the family. There's John Lithgow as a young man,
That's
and
this
look at the little puppy. They have a little dog and a kid with glasses. Everyone loves, and they find a Bigfoot, and they try, and he becomes part of their family.
when you described, I thought that the guy was going to the Bigfoot's family, but now I understand it's reversed,
Yeah,
and I thought that that idea was even more fun.
the Bigfoot comes into his family. Yeah, how come they probably have a part two of this? Like, yeah, Fanny would say it's an old movie.
I would, I
Oh,
would, I do like some old movies. Like I love Life is Wonderful, but most old
Life is
movies.
Wonderful isn't even old.
Well,
The
it's Frank.
Italian one with the clown that goes to the concentration camp.
Oh, no, 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 no. Life is beautiful. What a
Oh,
wonderful life. I don't know. The one that's in black and white and he sees what his life would be if he
oh,
wasn't born or something like
it's a
that.
Wonderful Life.
It's a
Yeah,
wonderful life. Yeah.
yeah, with Jimmy Stewart. Well,
Yeah.
Mary, I'll cut down the moon for you. Come here, Mary.
Yeah, I like this guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, this movie I love it because it's up and down, but we tried to watch Breakfast at Tiffany's. I was so bored. I was like nothing is happening in this movie. She's talking with her cat. Like
his name
what's
is Cat. I'll give him a name when I
I
want to.
I can't. I can't. Like
Nothing bad
yeah.
can ever happen at Tiffany's. Isn't it marvelous?
I can't. You mean It's a Wonderful Life? Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, I'm okay with old movies, but if they're active.
What do you think about the horribly racist portrayal of a Japanese man by Mickey Rooney in in Breakfast at Tiffany's?
I don't think we watched up until there. We got distracted at some point.
Oh, her neighbor is a Japanese man played by Mickey Rooney
Oh
in what
no,
can only be called Japanese face.
yes, I do recall that. Jess was like, "Oh, you're gonna see in this movie there is something that's really bad," and I was like, and it was the first time for me. I was like, "What?" Like because
Well,
I watched this a few years ago. I was like, that doesn't even make sense that people would do that. I didn't think
no.
people would do that, but
In Truman Capote wrote that, and in Truman Capote's novel or short story, not only is the man in the story a homosexual, but she is very clearly a prostitute,
mm,
and her Japanese neighbor can't say the L's in Holly Go Lightly, and so he calls her Hori Go Rightly.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Old movies make you fall asleep. Vegan
it's
Power
the
Lab.
same.
God damn it, you guys are killing
I
me.
feel easily bored. I'm bored. I don't know. Maybe I'm too like all over the place, but for me, it's hard when
Mm,
it's not going on. You know.
I completely understand. I would completely understand how sometimes people can like some old movies. Old movies for me are like Office Space. That's an old movie for you. That sounds like it comes from a bucket.
I have a question for you, Sky. I've been thinking about this movie. Did you see the new Emma Stone movie? And did I hear correctly that it's the plot is that she
She
is
has lots of orgasms. That movie, the orgasm movie, the Emma Stone orgasm movie.
I don't know. She's weird. She's talking like
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
like a
It's the
robot.
Emma Stone has multiple orgasm movie.
But isn't she a baby in the body of an adult? I
Yes.
heard, and I was like, what the who would write a plot like that? Isn't that crazy? But then it made me think of an idea of something that I had. I was thinking of writing a movie where an animal and a human exchange bodies. You know, like
Mhm.
they have a lot of body swaps in movies. And I
Mhm.
was like, then suddenly the animal is in the human body. What would they do? You know, how would they maybe take power over the human? And how
Mm.
would they start behaving? Because yeah, this morning I was thinking about Faye. Faye wanted to eat, and I was like, no, Faye, you had enough food. Like I give you, and I was like, wow, that's such huge power to be able to be over someone. Like, no, I'm not giving you food because you had way too much already.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, it makes me feel awful to have to like be no, and I have this power to give her or not food. Like it's like and then I was like, is this how people feel over animals, that they're like, oh, I have power so I can use it so I can do
Yeah,
whatever I want to this being. But
well,
then
we're
I was
all
like,
slaves. That's how they feel. It starts off like, "Oh, I'm gonna take care of you," but then it turns into, "Oh, I'm in charge of you. I can do what I want." I mean, people are sickening. You know,
but
they're
then but it's not just about like dogs. It's like, is this how they feel when they kill a lion in the jungle, and that's why they do these
mm,
trips, you know? And so I was like, if an animal was now trapped in a human body and have had this like power,
mhm.
would they use it? Would they? I don't know. It's stupid questions I ask
Would
myself.
they
That's why.
exercise their power to the extent of tyranny? I wonder that too, but, like, don't you think okay, so but let's go back to Emma Stone. I love the idea. So in the book, I haven't read the book, but you could totally tell because there's clues in the movie that the baby gets into like socialist ideas and ideas of governance and freedom and these types of very fundamental notions of humanity because they're looking as an adult at the world. But there's obviously going to be a sexual component too. And the movie basically makes the whole thing about her sexual awakening and how women are how women's sexuality is bought and sold. And it's a fair enough movie, but it's I found it completely tedious. Walking out, people were like, "That's such a great." I could hear other people talk. Such a great movie. Oh my god. Karina and I saw it together. She liked it more than me. I thought it was just so contrived. It looked very pretty, but it's basically watching Emma Stone fake an orgasm like 20 times. And I'm just like, again, at the first time, you're like,
As a baby,
well,
which is sickening to me.
she has a baby's brain.
Yeah, but still, she's a baby. What's the difference between a baby and an adult is having learned things in life that prevent you from being abused from others, from setting your boundaries, knowing what you like, what you don't, and all of that. Because there is not, it's not a body thing to be an adult. It's having maturity of an adult,
I guess
right?
it also means, yeah, and how other people perceive you too, right? Like people see
Because
you as an adult, you become more adult like.
Because sometimes you're 13 and you have an adult body, but that doesn't
Yes.
mean you're an adult,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
being an adult is having the maturity of an adult. So what does it say that someone was like, "Hey, let's put this baby in a body suit, in an adult suit, and then let's have them have this adult experience." It's so gross to me. It sounds gross to
Yeah,
me.
it's really gross too because they're like trying to marry her off and stuff like that. It's a very sickening film, but I think their message is heard, but it's all about the sex part and it's weird.
Hmm.
You know what? You know the story is that the mother kills herself and her baby inside is saved, but the mother isn't. So he takes the baby's brain. Her she is her own daughter, right? So
Mm.
she's given birth and they take the brain, they put it in. But it's not a good movie. People like it a lot, but it's like it's it looks unique. It's a uniquely made film, but it's like a piss poor story. I don't
It's
know.
like if you are gonna put a baby's brain in an adult body, there's so much you can do.
Yes.
There's so much you can do, and it's just too bad that they're doing this. It's all about sex every time. It's like in
Yeah.
The Good Place, they're like, how come that every time there is a new invention, people use it immediately for sex? And it's
Mhm.
like, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what the movie the you could tell I haven't read the book like I said, but I kind of want to just to prove my point. I am completely concerned that can we not talk about orgasms? Why not? Let's
Sorry, Ben. Sorry, Ben.
Benji hates orgasms. He's totally bored by them. Yes.
Yeah.
It's well, the movie turns it into that, and it is kind of boring because of that. Because it's like, you know how like in a good movie, there might be kind of a romantic or even a sexual scene or even like a sexually violent scene, and it's like wow point of the movie. But if the movie just keeps showing you that, it's like
It's okay. Can we elaborate on something else? Yeah.
yeah, it's boring. Yeah.
I think Dobrik, it grabs your attention because when people want to have a movie for the Oscars, they basically pay so much money for
Yeah.
this movie to be all over the place for people to know about it, so they have more chance of winning Oscars and make more money off of this movie.
Mhm.
So the Oscars, like as someone who worked in the industry and I was very naive before, I didn't know that it was kind of the more people pay, the best their chance to get an award. But
Yeah. Do you know who
now I
started
get
that?
it. No,
It's so weird. The person who started doing that was, Harvey Weinstein. He bought Isn't that weird?
I am
So
not surprised.
his whole thing was like Miramax was the production company, right? And so what he would do is take movies that were pretty good and he would buy the rights to them into independent films, and then he would spend a lot of money, all of his money, into getting them Oscar nominations. And so he
Mm-hmm.
kept doing that, and he won finally with a little movie. It went up against Saving Private Ryan. Do you remember that movie, Saving Private
Mm.
Ryan?
Mm-hmm.
Saving Private Ryan didn't win the Oscar.
What
Harvey
movie?
Weinstein's film, he bought the rights to it and he put it out there. It was Shakespeare in Love.
Oh, I love Shakespeare in Love.
Yeah, it's a good
Of
movie.
course, nobody's surprised.
I
But
like that movie.
yeah, I did too.
I thought it was better than Saving Private Ryan too. I thought Saving Private Ryan was just like so dumb to like this just guns and war and violence. I'm sick of guns and war and violence, you know? I'm sick of
I'm a
it.
little, yeah, I'm a little tired. I'm like, what can we do that's different than that? I get we need reminders remind to people as if, there weren't enough wars today to
Right.
understand that war is bad. But I understand that we need to remind people what tragedies happened.
Mhm.
But it's getting old. We need
Yeah.
to more stuff.
Yeah, I don't like the war porn stuff, especially like if it's gonna be an anti like reminder movie, then make it clearly that because
Hmm.
I don't think Saving Private Ryan. I think it glorified too much war. It made war look bad, but also like the men who fought were heroes.
Or make it something very interesting. Like one movie that I really liked was the movie with Benedict Cumberbatch, who he's like a super smart guy who
Oh, he played
successfully.
Turing. He played it was the Imitation Game.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
that. So basically, for those who haven't seen it, he is able to break the code that the Germans were using to
yeah,
plan all their attacks, and because he broke the code, that's how the British were able to know which attacks they were planning on
yeah. He
doing,
played
and
Alan Turing, who broke the Enigma machine, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and he won the war basically, and then he was chemically castrated.
Because he was gay.
Yeah.
So I thought that this movie was amazing because it's a totally different story about war, which is
Mm,
very important. It's something so important that happened, but you don't see people being killed every 5 seconds. And
yeah.
it's not about, and it's like a very important. And I wish that we had, for example, I've rarely heard stories about, and there are so many babies today in France and like
Mhm.
grown-ups who are children from American soldiers, for example, and who, like, because of the DNA tests, I've seen TV shows like
Mhm.
that where people come and witness and they're like, yeah, so I was born and then I discovered when I did my test that 2 towns over I had a sister that I had
Mhm.
no idea because this American went and made multiple babies and then went back to America, and now I have a sister in the town and then I have
Right.
a family in America. Like, I've never seen that part of a war, and that's a very
Yeah,
common thing.
very true. I wish they would do something about that for our Asian that would have been a good story for our Asian wars. We have Grumpy Vegan Granddad on. Would you like to play a game with him?
I
Grumpy
would love
Vegan
to.
Granddad seems like he's ready. I think it says Dan, aka Grumpy. This is random, stupid questions. Granddad, hello. How are you?
Okay, yeah, good, good.
Grumpy? You feeling grumpy?
Hello, Fanny.
Hi. Oh, I
Yeah.
know. My name in English is kind of tricky.
Mm,
If you feel weird calling me Fanny, you could just say Fannulous.
Can I call you
Fannulous.
funny? Can I call you funny?
You can call me
Funny.
funny if you
I'm
want.
just, you're very privileged because I've just turned off this. Hang on. See that picture on the screen, TV screen? It's a new TV series started on TV, and it's about Birmingham in the 80s, and it's
Mm.
about the race riots, and it's about the advent of ska music, how ska music brought white and black people together, and we sort of moved forward in this movement in the 80s, and yeah, it looks really cool. So I paused it for you two.
That sounds very exciting. You know, it's funny because what Fanny was just saying about the people in
Funny, funny.
wars.
Hello,
One
funny,
of
funny.
funny, funny. My favorite
Sorry.
song from the Clash, a band that incorporated ska and reggae into their punk sound, was "Go to Hell," "Straight to Hell Boys." I love that "Straight to Hell," and it's about American soldiers who had kids in Vietnam, and I always thought that was such a good song. Political.
Yeah, which I mean, all this political unrest always breeds amazing creativeness, and it always has done.
Mm.
And I was very lucky to grow up in the 70s and 80s when there was lots of trouble. In the 90s, you know, the AIDS epidemic, and then there was gay bands come out, Frankie Goes to Hollywood and all this stuff, and the Bronski Beat and the Communards, and yeah, Queen. It was, but Queen were always like, and then who was that guy? Elton John didn't come out because it would affect his career. You know, he
Isn't
didn't
that
come out
wild?
until he even got married, didn't he? And
Mm-hmm.
he was just
He did.
amazing. So all this time that I've gone through, all the music and creativity has been amazing, and now things seem to be settled. Everything's stagnating, so I'm waiting for the next sort of period of like unrest. You know, maybe when Putin comes over the Scottish Highlands, that's when the music will start changing again.
Maybe.
So we'll
Or
see.
when Trump gets elected again, gets reelected.
Oh,
we'll have,
bring on Trump! Trump is great entertainment. Yeah,
yeah.
that is.
So at least it'll give us some good punk rock, right?
If Trump comes into power, that's it. We're going straight into World War III. You know what I'm saying?
We're all still walking on our way there anyway. Yeah, we're almost there. We're almost there. It's like, well, you want World War III? Elect Trump. Yeah, that should be their new line, right?
Definitely. You know, you were talking about films earlier. Sorry to put in. What about Tom Hanks in Big?
I like that movie.
That was a bit of a pedo film, wasn't it?
In Big?
Ooh, yeah, he's a baby who becomes a grown-up.
He was a teenager, and yes.
He's
We
like
did-
10. He's like
yeah.
he's young because he's too short to get on the ride.
He's
So
about
actually-
9, 10. He's about a 10-year-old, isn't it? 9 and 10-year-old.
He's little.
Yeah,
And then
he's little.
that woman seduces him in the
And
toy.
they have sex. They have
Yeah.
sex. When we watched it with Jess a few years ago, we were like, that's not that. No. Yeah.
We've got an 80s movie called Rita, Sue and Bob 2, right? And it's a classic. It was an absolute classic, and it was filmed in the North. It was my accent. Everybody loved it. But it was about a guy waiting outside the school for two schoolgirls to come out to have sex with them while they were babysitting. It was like, wow, you never even realize it didn't even come into your head, you know? And when you look back, it's like, whoa.
Well, Marty McFly goes back in time to seduce his mother.
It's getting a bit weird, this, isn't it?
She tries to seduce him. He doesn't do that on purpose.
Yeah, somebody wrote that. Like that's not something that you. It's the same kind of thing with the big. You know, he wishes he can go big, and somebody wrote, "Oh, and he's got to have sex." Like.
If this all disturbs you, I'm gonna write in the chat right now. If you watch the movies of Bertrand Blier, he's a French filmmaker, and all of his movies are disturbing about sexuality, and they used real children actors
No,
to
thank you.
beyond. And I'm like, how did this even happen? Like.
Because it's art. Because this is what art is all about. It's about provoking responses in people. It's about making people feel things. That's what it's all about.
Yes,
And you've got to
but they
make
used real children to do that.
They were acting. They weren't using real children to do something. They used children actors to act and
Yes,
provoke a
but
response.
they're being really touched by an adult for real.
But,
Well, let me tell you
but
something that
yeah,
in the English speaking world, we have Brooke Shields, who was exploited early on in her life. She was, I think, 10 years old when Pretty Baby came out, where she played a child prostitute.
oh yeah,
And then Playboy released pictures of her nude as a 9-year-old, and the lawsuits declared the person who owned the photos to be the winner. Like, it was out of this. She was horribly exploited at a young age. And when she and Michael Jackson became friends, that was what they bonded over, was that they were both at a very
we
young.
used to have in the red top newspapers in the UK a page three models, right? And they were topless models, and they used to do countdowns for 15-year-olds to reach 16-year-olds to expose the breasts in the paper. It's like,
Yeah,
it was just all there. It was like, it just went on, but it never. As a person who lived through it, it never felt not normal. It just felt like, it's funny. You don't see it. I mean, it's like animal rights. You just don't see it for what it is when you're living through it.
Exactly. It's like animal rights because it seems normal to do these things, and then it's absolutely not. It's
until somebody points it out to you.
Right.
When somebody points it out to you, look, this isn't right. You're actually. Oh yeah. Now I see it. I see it, and there you go. The advent of a vegan.
With, who's the little English girl who played Hermione? Emma Watson, maybe? Is that her name?
Emma Watson, yeah. She was a young actor.
She was a young actor, and she said that when she's 17 and she's going out for her birthday, and now she's 18 years old, and the yellow press, all of the paparazzi, as soon as she gets out, all of a sudden they're trying to take pictures up her skirt and stuff, and she just realized that's her 18th birthday. Is that now the pictures, they're completely, the paparazzi is doing horribly invasive shit to her, but they weren't doing it 1 minute ago.
Yeah.
That's sickening. And that's like, you're a woman now, and that's today, that's just a few years ago, really. She's probably what, 30 now?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's true. It's too bad that it's still happening, and yet we're lucky because we live in countries where most people agree with us that this is not okay, and there's still children being married today, little girls who are like 9-year-olds, and for me that's like, it's really, really sad.
And I wonder how many people actually, I think about that a lot, actually, Fanny, how many people are actually against this stuff, because I meet people every day who are like, when they're talking to me about animals, in my mind, I'm going, this person is also a racist, is also a sexist. Of course they're speciesist. It's like, they are still like that guy, Ray, who was talking to me yesterday. He was really nice to me, but there was a piece of me going, this guy, he doesn't like a lot of people. He definitely, there's no way I'm going to get him to go.
Sometimes I do wonder if there is kind of like a hierarchy of steps you have to go through, but I don't know that this is accurate. Like, oh, well, you have to accept that all, like, I would talk hypothetical. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a white man. And do I have to accept that other white men are equal as me? Do I have to accept that other skin color people are equal as me? Do I have to accept that women are? Is this like a thing that we have to all go through to then accept that animals can be equals to us? Or can someone be a racist and vegan and understand veganism?
I think they can. I mean, there's people who living. I think there's people who live in countries who are vegan and who don't like homosexuality. Some of the African countries where it's really sort of, it's going to be a long time before there's equal rights for gay people there, but they're vegan. And I don't think it's exclusive. I know what you're saying, Fanny, but I don't think it works that way. I mean, I I was brought up racist. I know what racist thinking is like. I was racist for up into my mid-teens, and it felt right. It didn't feel wrong. And then incidents started happening, and I started thinking, this isn't right. This isn't right. But if someone had convinced me to go vegan, I could have been vegan and still racist.
Then I'm wondering, is there things that I'm still like doing that is like really shitty, as bad as being racist, being a non-vegan, carnist, and all of that? Are there things that I don't even see now? I don't know.
I mean, some parts of racism is a defense mechanism, and it's always been when the stranger comes into town. And that defense mechanism is, oh, who's this guy? If somebody walks down up your path and you don't know who that is, you instantly go into flight or flight mode.
Yeah,
and that is a form of stranger danger. Who's this person? He doesn't look like us. He's not from my area. He's not in my crew. He's not in my society. Who is he? Is he dangerous? So, to a certain extent, I think it's inbuilt in all of us to be wary of strangers and other people. And
distrusting of them. Yes.
Yeah,
that's because that you could say that about, you could take race out of it and just say like, I'm a little distrustful of Russians, right? Because we happen to have an adversarial political relationship.
This is what I mean. What leads onto the racist thing? It is that you can't tell a Russian from an Englishman. So the fact that a person's got different coloured skin or different facial features makes them stand out even more. So it's easier to spot the stranger. If you see what I'm saying,
I'm going to push back a little bit though. I don't see. Okay, so I agree. Like, we're kind of evolved to always think about like the ones in our tribe are okay, but there might be someone from the other tribe pretending to be one in our tribe. We need to always keep an eye out. And there's this. We have that in us, and I get that, but I don't see how you could understand that and still be racist. And if you're racist, I don't think you can be vegan. It's so difficult for me to imagine, because how the hell could you be against oppression, against
I think because some people call vegan, but they're not vegan. They're not against oppression. They're just kind of like, a lot of people think, and that's how even when I started being vegan, I did not understand the whole oppression thing. I was just like, I don't want animals to suffer. And for me, that was being killed, right?
Yeah.
That was like being used. But I was not like, oh, then they should be free. What should we do with them? Like, in the beginning, you don't start questioning everything. You have this like obvious thing where you're like, oh, I am hurting someone else. I need to stop this. But then you're like, oh, hold on. It just shows something about an entire society and a way of working, and then you can apply that to everything. But I don't think that in the beginning you realize any of this.
Yeah, I think you're right, because I definitely originally thought I'm against violence and oppression, and so violence, but violence is a symptom of oppression. I don't think I really got that immediately when I was younger and going vegan. But let me ask, okay, but if I'm outreaching, let's put it back into like our practicable part of our lives. If I'm talking to someone who's racist, how the heck am I going to get that person to even consider veganism? I feel like there's a huge chasm to cross before I'm able to talk about animal rights. They're still racist. They're they're troglodytes.
throw it back to 1946, right? You're trying to get people to go vegan in 1946 in the UK and America. What would these people would hate Germans. They would hate Germans. They would be racist against Germans. They would be racist against the Japanese. Right? I met a guy in Greece who had all his toenails taken out by the Japanese in a concentration camp when he got caught during the war, and he hated them with a vengeance.
Yeah.
But he could quite easily be vegan. But he hated those people because of his experience with them. So I don't know. It really is sort of, I mean,
it feels to me that what you just said is about putting people in boxes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Because you're like that. You're like all of the people that I know like that. And it's just not. For me, that's one of the biggest And that's why for a long time, even before I ever heard about gender openness and fluidity and everything, I was like, gender is stupid. We should never even talk about gender, put that on our
Mhm.
ID cards or whatever, because it's like, who cares? Why do we need to put people in a box? It only differentiates people and make them having antagonism.
Yeah, I've
It's
always thought that
Yeah,
that
yeah, I
was.
agree with you.
I've always thought that like race and gender and all of that is just so that the cops can tell us who's who. It's like when you witness a crime, the police come and like, well, what did the suspect look like? Were they male or female? They were male. Were they black or white? They were
I don't know,
white.
but they had a really crap mustache.
Yeah, did they have any defining facial features? That's what they
What's that
asked.
game? What's that game called where you pull down all the different?
Um,
Does he wear
Who's who
glasses?
or something like
Who's
that.
who?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a bit
but
like
it's
that.
Yeah, it's
if you
exactly like that. That's why I think they put that on our ID cards: male, female, black, white, color of your eyes, tattoos. Sometimes, if you have a tattoo, they want the cops. So that's what they. If you get booked in jail, they catalog your tattoos.
Yeah,
But
they do.
I would be interested into being like, how many labels could I put on myself that society has put? I'm Belgian, I'm American, I'm a woman,
Yeah,
I'm white, I'm a red hair, I have green eyes, like all of these things that don't even nobody cares, that doesn't define at all who I am as a person, my values, what I like, the things I enjoy, it doesn't define me at all. But if someone was to define me, they would use these things to define me, and
well,
they
and this
would
is
know
something that's
nothing about me.
it's really interesting to me because I grew up thinking that race was something we would eventually ignore, that we would live in a colorblind society. But now people like what you're saying, it's not that that's how we're defining each other, it's that's how that we're defining ourselves. And they want you to recognize that about themselves. And that's a weird shift for me because I always was like, I don't care what anything, I don't care about any of that, gay, straight, black, white, what do I care? I don't. And now it's like, no, you need to respect the fact that I'm gay and see that in me and recognize that. And it's like, bro, I'm just trying to order a vegan hamburger.
I feel like maybe if I say that, I'm gonna make a general statement, and of course, it's gonna be wrong. But I feel like a lot of people who feel like they need to everybody else to acknowledge something about them, like their gender or whatever, it's because they've been hurt in that thing. Like people have weaponized that against them. So they're trying to claim that back.
Mm,
Right. So I
mm.
feel that they're using that to be like, no, call me this because that's my identity. Like they're claiming it back. But truly, I think that if we were not using any of these things,
We'd be
everything would be
better off.
way better.
I think you're right
And
too.
maybe it's because I'm white that I think that,
Well, I think too,
I-
sometimes it feels, yeah, you're white, but you're also, like you said, you're also a woman, you're also Belgian, you're also
I'm
vegan,
an
you're all these.
immigrant,
Yeah. So there is something that feels good about being seen, right? Being seen as your individual self. That feels good. When someone says, "Hey, Dan, your mustache looks great, by the way. You've got such a good looking mustache." Dan feels good because I've called something out about him that makes him an individual, and I've recognized that in him. That feels good. But
Mhm.
that you can't have that all the fucking time, and you can't demand that from other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to comment on my fucking. I am a mustachioed individual, and I will be recognized as such. Like you
And
can't do that.
sometimes we don't know what people need to feel validated as, like we like some people, like people who are immigrants like me in this country, oftentimes don't know I'm an immigrant because they don't hear my accent. But people who are native speaker here, they do hear my
Mm.
accent, so they but a lot of people think I'm just white American and they don't know. So it's like you don't know, you can't assume things, it's really hard, so it's tricky.
Yeah, vegan power love
Fanny,
brings.
Fanny, they're all immigrants. There's only the Native Americans and the Mexicans who are real Americans, so they're all immigrants. So don't
We
worry.
are a
It's
Don't.
country of
true.
immigrants.
It's
That's something
true.
that we should always be reminded of. Absolutely. The reason why you need to recognize it is because these classes have always been have been oppressed in the past. Yeah, and maybe are also currently oppressed. It's not that they have been oppressed, but they are oppressed, and I understand
True.
that. But if we're working towards a world where we're no longer oppressing each other based on these criteria, then maybe ignoring those criteria is the way forward. Like Martin Luther King, I have a dream that my children will be judged by not by the color of skin, by the color of their skin, but by the power of their character. Right? I think that's how it goes. The nature of their character, or whatever it is, by their character, not their color, essentially. So the idea is ignore the color, judge you by the content of your character. That's what it is. Content of your character, but not the color of your skin. And goddamn, that's a beautiful idea. That's Martin Luther King. I think it was a good idea. I think that was a good one. That's just me, I guess.
I like it.
I like it too. You want to play the game?
Yeah, let's play the game.
We did
Sorry
play
about
this.
that. I just this is what here's another label, ADHD. This is what ADHD people do. Just go off on a tangent, and it's like, sorry, but I'm good at that.
I love it because we played the song and then we did not do the game.
Yeah, but I do want to know, like, if anybody in the chat, like, do you think that it is more or less difficult to outreach a racist about speciesism or veganism?
Yeah,
I think it would be easier.
You think it's
because because they understand what they're doing, you know. So I think,
do they though?
Well, flip the coin. The people one of the biggest transitions to veganism worldwide are black people who were the oppressed people, so they understand it from that side. So surely the oppressor can understand it from their side as well, and get it. It's the people in the middle who are totally blissfully unaware of the hardest people to turn.
That's
because
true.
they've got no experience of either.
That's true. That's true. The completely ignorant are also the hardest. Like they're the real hard ones.
The blinkered and do not cares. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the do not cares, or I never heard this. What? This is happening? What? Chicken nuggets are made from actual chickens? Like
this is what I mean about you know. When we talk about we're pushing the ethical side on it, and you can talk to people who do not care about animals. They do not care about torture of animals. They do not give a shit about people hurting animals for their taste pleasure. They don't care. So what do you do with those people? Do you give up on them, or do you start hitting them with the health side of it? Do you start hitting them with the environmental side of things to get them over, whether it's the right way or not? And this is what I've always preached as well, is that we should use any sort of branch we can to get those people over. But if somebody does not care about the animals and does not care, my goal then is just to get them to go on a vegan diet.
Get them into plant-based stuff.
Exactly.
Dominic Canvo makes up a good point. Something that I said on the my live stream earlier. Like, I see all these people feeding seagulls at the beach, and I'm like, they love animals, and yet they're so cruel to them.
I don't know if they love animals or if they love the idea of animals. It's like people who want to be married because they love the idea of marriage, but then they don't actually love being married because it's not easy. You know what I mean? Like, we have these idea of like, oh, animals are cute, they're kind, they're this, they're like innocent, blah, blah, blah. But then when you actually have an interaction with an animal, they might be very different than what your idea was. And I feel like a lot of people have this idea that they love animals, but they don't. They don't know them. Yeah.
Some people just want to see this. Some people just want to watch the world burn. Some men just want to watch the world burn. Yeah.
Okay, are we ready for the random stupid question?
Yes, I'm ready for the random stupid.
As per usual, everybody in the chat is more than welcome to share your responses with us. But Dan, aka Grumpy, what's your go-to response to "but lions eat meat"?
Lions also eat the young. Lions rape each other. Just because lions do this, are you going to make your life exactly the same as a lion's life and do that? Are you going to live outside without any clothing, live in a cave?
Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that one. I just say you're not a lion.
I usually say, well, let me see you run after an antelope.
Let me see you run after an
Let me
antelope.
see those claws, baby. Let me see those claws and those.
Yeah, it's ridiculous that lion. Let me see you. Yeah, let me see you lick your own butt.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, I want to see it.
No, I need some ribs taken out to do that.
Oh, God,
Oh gosh.
it would have made my teenage years much more. Never mind.
To You would have washed yourself with your tongue? You would have preferred that than to shower?
No, that's not what I was referring to at all.
Ah, okay.
I wouldn't be licking my own butt. That's for sure.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Vegan Power Lab. After this conversation, I go talk to the lions.
Go talk to the lions. Yeah, after that's a good one. I usually say I don't speak lion. If I'm typing, I'll say I don't speak lion.
I mean, we can thank the Lion King movie for the circle of life argument as
Yeah.
well.
We could thank most of Disney for a lot of ridiculous, stupid stuff that is haunting our culture, like the
Mhm.
fairy tale wedding. I think that's definitely people who watch too many Disney movies. I want a big white dress, and my prince will walk up the aisle. Like all that stuff is definitely
Cringy.
Disney. It's Disney. Disney did it.
Disney did it. Okay, next question.
Let's hear it.
What's the title of the autobiography you will never write, but definitely should?
Ooh.
The title of the autobiography. God, that's a hard one.
Of your autobiography that you will never write, but you definitely should.
What's your autobiography called?
It's called. Oh, I don't know.
The Grumpy
Bald.
Grandpa Talks. Grumpy Grandpa's Journey.
Journey.
No, don't mention Journey. He'll stick that stupid thing on his head. Don't mention that word to him.
Journey. I think yours.
I think I might call it From Oppressor to the Oppressed to the Savior of the Oppressed.
Oh.
All right. That's
because
poetic.
It's the story of my oppressive lifestyle in living in a racist northern town to suffering with my undiagnosed ADHD and becoming oppressed by it. And then my transition to a vegan animal rights activist and helping the oppressed. Yeah, that's my autobiography.
So
That
you
sounds
feel
like a good one.
do you feel like you had to first liberate yourself from your own oppression to be able to then want that for others? Because that's something I'm trying to see. I feel like every vegan person I know had some sort of oppression that at some point they liberated themselves and then they were like, I need to see that for others.
Yeah, not really. No, not
Okay.
really, because I didn't find out my problem until last year, a year before last. So I knew there was something not right. So yeah, and I wasn't really. I only felt oppressed through my life in the fact that I never had any money, never had money in the bank. I could never keep a job down. I felt so I was never really properly oppressed.
Mm-hmm.
I never felt oppressed. I just felt like a survivor. I went through life surviving with schemes, ducking and a diving, wheeling and a dealing. Yeah, so yeah, I can't really say I've suffered depression. That's a nonsense for me. I've never really suffered depression. I've always found a way to get cash or get some money in the bank, but I've never had anything, if you know what I mean. So, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
But I've seen oppression and I've seen bad depression. I've seen horrible things. Horrible to humans, I'm talking about. Especially during the AIDS epidemic. I've seen gay people absolutely beaten to a pulp in front of me, and I've gone home in tears because I couldn't help, because these guys were like tough guys. Well, they weren't tough guys; they were pathetic guys. But do you know what I mean? I've seen some horrible. I've seen Asian people, Pakistani, Indian Asians in England. I've seen Asian people just someone I know just run up and punch them in the nose, and this kid was on his way to work. And I've seen some horrible things. I've seen some horrible oppression, and it's made me feel sick to the core.
Maybe that should be the name of your. I've seen some horrible things. That's your autobiography.
Yeah, I've seen some terrible shit. Yeah,
terrible shit.
Terrible shit. Yeah.
Okay, here is another title for an autobiography.
Everyone's ... Big broccoli, how I forced it down everyone's ... I like it. That's a good one. Pieces of a beloved animal being. I like that one too, Jawbreak.
That was for slightly popular.
Terry says he suffered depression being in a shitty household when in care. Oh man, that's sad. That's horrible that to be in care. Yeah, that's a survivor story straight there, Terry.
What about you, Fanny? What's your autobiography called?
Yeah.
I think, not to mention Jess, because it's not about Jess, but it would be I Kissed the Frog, because I liked it. And I liked it. But I think it would be to refer to I was raised like a little princess in my own world, and then I kissed the frog, and I was able to, it's I took the blue pill. And I was like, okay, now I see the real world and what it is. So I think that would be something like that. And you, Sky?
King of the Lungfish.
Of the lungfish? Lung? Like lungs? I don't know what is this.
Just another squirming worm between heaven and earth. I don't know, just like how I'm just another piece of shit in already a giant heaping pile of shit.
Okay.
There's a giant heaping pile of shit, and then I was born and added to this giant heaping pile.
You mean about the whole human beings are all a big pile of shit?
Have you got a fetish? Have you got a fetish, Sky, you haven't told us about?
No,
I seem to be talking about lots of bottoms and secretions and
about nothing. Actually, I'm currently writing a memoir, and I have one that I'm writing right now, and it's about my time working in the restaurant business, and it's only about working in the restaurant business, and it's called The Devil's Work. That's what it's called. What do you think? Think it'll work? Think it's a good one?
Yeah. Devil's Work is.
It's only a title. Great. It's only a title. It's the content I'm worried about.
It's going to be about me working in the not fast food, but in the food industry in hospitality.
Devil's Work.
So you're going to it's going to be like, I took a plate over to table 4, and they said that this piece of food was cold.
That's exactly what it's like, and then
it's going to be gripping.
It's also that you were serving animals a lot.
There's going to be definitely a thing about animals.
Oh, is it going to be on a vegan? Is it going to be on a vegan slant? Ah, right. It's not like literally.
Of course, there's going to be about veganism, but also just about some of the violence and everything else I saw in that industry. It was a rough one. I don't know if you've heard, but I worked in Vegas, man. It was nobody's business. It's a good title, especially in a country like US where God and devil are so common.
Yeah. Where's Vegan Power Lab from?
He's from Romania, but he lives in Amsterdam.
Oh,
Amsterdam. I've never been to Amsterdam yet. I need to go.
Growing up in the slums of Glasgow. I love it.
I love this word. Okay, is everybody
growing up in the slums of Glasgow?
Oh, you autistic? Hi. Sorry.
Hi, Jackie. No, it's okay. You can bond.
We knew diverse people like to bond.
I love it.
We automatically bond. Sorry, I won't interrupt again.
No, that's okay. Next question is, what is the most creative use you can think of for a time machine aside from traveling through time? And everybody's like, what did you just say? Is there another use that you can see of a time machine if it wouldn't be time travel?
What kind of question's that? That is really sort of like...
It's a random, stupid question. So the purpose is to...
What does the time machine look like? Tell me what it looks like first.
That's the thing. I think that's the answer to the question. It's like, what is the time machine made of? out of? Sky, what would be the answer for
Couldn't
you?
you send? So I'm not going to use it for time travel, but I could take like an iPhone and send it back to time, like send it back by itself, just
Yeah.
to like
Would it work though?
1865
I
England.
could get pieces of meat out of the supermarket, put them in, and send them back in time to when they were animal again, and then liberate them.
Love it.
I like it. So, Sky, if you were sending an iPhone, they could not even use it.
I'll send it with a big power block too, like a bunch of car batteries, and it's
Yeah,
plugged
but
in.
what
Yeah,
if,
but there's no aerials. There's no infrastructure.
yeah, if Wi-Fi is not a thing, how does it work?
Yeah.
If Google was not invented, what worth, like,
It
you know
would
what I
be
mean?
ye old Google.
Well, maybe they could backwards engineer the
Could
phone.
they?
So
No,
what you
probably.
do? So what you do? You put a search term into the iPhone, and then some guy in a top hat would jump on a horse and carriage. He'd go to the library, go and get a book out of the library. He'd memorize the pages, run back, and he'd read them to you.
I like
suppose.
that. What if I just did this? I send back a letter to like um Germany in 1926
Ooh.
But
saying,
who would listen to
listen.
you? Who would listen to you? I'd be
I
like,
have to think about that.
I'm always
Neville
thinking.
Chamberlain. Neville Chamberlain could listen. And I could be like, look, there's gonna be a guy, you're gonna be Prime Minister of England someday. And there's this other guy.
I'm just thinking, I'm just like, if someone was coming in my life right now and was like, listen, I'm coming from the future and yada, 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 I'd be like, okay, thanks, bye.
But
And
you
I'd
could do it's a
just be like,
letter.
I met a crazy person.
It's a letter. It's like, hey, in this year this is gonna happen. In this
Watch
year,
what you do with your hand, Sky. Watch what you do with your hand.
no, don't do it.
I think, Sky, if you want your thing to work, you have to say very private and personal secret to the person you're sending it to, so that it would have to believe that you know things that nobody else knows. You know what I
Neville
mean?
Chamberlain, I could tell him what I know about Neville Chamberlain, and I could be like, look,
Stop
There-
it, Sky.
there's gonna be there's gonna be a little kid in Germany. In Austria, I'm sorry, there's gonna be a little Austrian, and you need to make sure that he does not rise to power in Germany. Neville Chamberlain. Mm, That's
Yeah,
it.
but if do you think, because that's something that people have talked about so much when Trump was here, because they were like, yeah, if not Trump, we wouldn't be in trouble and all. And I'm like, Trump's just the face of the thing. If there was no Trump, there would be another Trump. If there was no Hitler, there would have been
Somebody
another
has to
Hitler.
You
facilitate.
see, I want to. I've studied Hitler, right, and I've studied people who've been dictators because I want to know, right, because they've got the key, they've got the secret in how to sway a whole country into a way of thinking.
Well,
Do you
they don't
see where
really
I'm going with this? And it's
have,
like,
but they don't actually, because they're not even that good at it. They don't come up with brand new ideas. They come out with reactions to existing ideas, and that's a totally different thing. Like the violent reaction to something like liberalism, that's common. Like, we don't like the way it is, let's react violently. Okay, now someone's going to come in and say, that's a yeah, do it, yeah, go for it. And that's the problem. Like, there's nothing special about Trump except that he facilitates us to act on our baser instincts. That's the problem. There were always people who hated Jews in America, but then Trump gets elected, and all of a sudden there's anti-Jewish marches in Charlottesville. Like,
Mhm.
anyway,
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel like, yeah, they're the face, but if not them, there would be another face, because it's like movements are coming. Are not one person. It's a group, and there is sometimes one person that's like at the top showing kind of the way, but It's a movement. It's like veganism. Nobody is the one face of veganism. Even
Yeah.
if tomorrow, I don't know, Earthling Eds becomes, or Ingrid Newkirk or whoever is like the face of veganism, it's a bunch of people working to make this
Mm.
thing happen. So
Mm.
yeah, that's how I feel. But anyways, do you want to move forward with the next question? It's going to be an easier one.
Okay, that's
Okay.
an easy one.
Okay. Which vegetable do you think is secretly plotting world domination?
Which vegetable is secretly
I think
planted?
it's corn. I think it's corn.
Corn. We have a corn king already, so that would make sense that it would be corn.
It would be. But I think it's corn. Corn is in everything now. Mostly
Hmm.
here in America. You have corn in everything. Oh, broccoli. Love
What do
broccoli.
you think, Grumpy?
I think palm oil is the devil's juice.
Oil,
Palm
You're
oil is
right.
secreted in everything, and anti-vegans seem to come out as though it's a vegan problem. You know, it's some sort of vegan issue, but palm oil has nothing to do with veganism. Palm oil is
50% of consumable goods. 50%. That's fucking insane.
and it's not even a bad thing. It's only bad in certain areas where it exploits the natural resources. It can be sustainably grown for whatever I've not even studied why they use it. What they use it for? Is it some sort of tasteless oil, or is it some sort of abundant thing that is really, really cheap? I don't know what they use it for.
Well, it's cheap, it's easy to grow, and it happens to have like a high melting point, so that you can have it as at room temperature at that consistency that we want.
I know what I'd like to take over the world. Hemp.
Hemp should be the secret one that takes over.
And do you know why hemp is so good? Because when people talk about, there's areas of this country, especially the UK, on the moors, which are behind me. You can only have sheep on the moors because there's nothing else grows up there. Hemp grows anywhere. Anywhere.
Doesn't bamboo give it a run for its money? Bamboo can kind of grow.
Yeah, but that's hot climates.
Not England, huh?
Not England. So hemp is a great thing, and you can actually get a license quite easily because obviously hemp is related to the cannabis plant.
Then
you can
why
make
is it,
food, clothing.
why
all
is it so
sorts of
expensive then? Because
Why
it is
what's expensive?
hemp.
Hemp.
It's expensive, right? It's more expensive than like wheat, for example.
But that's demand led. That's demand led. So people don't demand hemp. It's like a lot of ingredients. You know, the reason vegan mock meats and all the other sort of vegan ready meals and instant stuff is becoming cheaper now and cheaper than meat itself is because of demand. Because then because once you start bulk buying ingredients, then the price drops and the margins rise.
Hemp also had a legal problem for a long time. They were making certain hemps illegal and this hemp illegal and that hemp, but like we need to put money into it is all. I mean, there needs to be a market for it. I think, you know what I think is secretly taking over the world?
Hemp milk is disgusting.
It's not a vegetable, but I think yeast is secretly trying to take us over. Like it's.
You mean nutritional yeast, or you mean yeast that grows on people?
Yeast that turns sugar into alcohol. Like I read this thing once that said that. What's he got?
I'm going to show you some yeast, and it's the future, and it's the most. It's the. In fact, I'm going to send you some over if you can't get it in the US. Right.
What is
Marmite?
This?
But look at what flavor it is.
Truffle.
It is amazing. It is absolutely beautiful.
I've never even heard of truffle Marmite.
It is new. It's so straight out the jar. It is amazing. If you want, Sky, I'll smear it all over your bottom and lick it off.
Well, I told you, yeast is taking over the world. Yeast is secretly conspiring.
That stuff is just amazing, mate. And what I'll do is I'll package it in some obscure packaging so you get arrested first, and then
and then they'll put it in my butt. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Flax
Sorry.
milk. I've never had flax milk. Okay, but Dan does love does like yeast. He loves the
Oh, I
yeast.
love yeast. He left to bring it. Marmite is amazing. That truffle flavor, you will never go back. I put it. Oh man, it's just it's heaven. It's orgasm in a jar.
So, Vegan Power Lab says, good question. Aren't animals used to find truffles like pigs? Sometimes, but not all the time. There
It's
are
rare these days. Yeah,
there are vegan truffles like just grown in like big
they grow them on
spaces,
farms.
like
Yeah,
A
big
truffle is a
farms.
mushroom. You can find them without pigs. I think that was just a later addition. If you know where to look and how to find them, you can find them,
well, pigs
surely.
like to eat them, so they would follow the pigs around. Eventually, they would just train pigs. But it's like kind of like ginseng root. Some people will swear that wild ginseng is the only type of ginseng, and that you can only get wild truffles, but you can farm them just like anything else. They look a little bit different, but you can farm truffles. Yeah, not
just
all truffles.
just grab a shovel and start digging.
Mhm.
Okay. To find truffles. Okay.
That's what
Yeah.
I do in a lot of conversations, Fanny. A lot of conversations, I grab a shovel and start digging.
Mm.
Oh my gosh, Sky!
Paul Campbell. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank
Never had a
you,
single lesson.
Paul.
Thank you, Paul. What a great man. What a great man
Yeah,
in Galway we have.
Vegan Power Lab. I think you can just maybe research the brand of the product and see if they are using animals. But I'm pretty sure most of
But
them
I
today.
don't think that has got actual truffles in it. It's truffle flavor.
How much did it cost you? It probably has truffle oil in it, but how did you
It's about £2.
£2?
About
Vegan
$3.
Vans found it for $20 on
What?
eBay.
Yeah, because if it's made in Europe, it's
You
going to be
can't
so
find it here.
expensive to have it here.
Supply and demand.
Do you want me to try and send you some, Sky? Because
Sure.
it doesn't. You keep it in the cupboard. You don't put it in the fridge. It's kept in the cupboard. It's not.
It's shelf stable.
Yeah, it's like honey.
Is there palm oil in it?
Oh no, it's. Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna have to put my new glasses on if I want to
You
read
have
that.
new glasses? Oh, I hope they're
Yeah.
red. Please tell me they're pink. What color are they?
No, I've never had glasses. I'm 56. I'm 57 in 3 months' time, and
So they're new, as in like
but I can read small shit, right? I can read small shit. It's just stuff like that. It's like when it's
Too small. Oh, it says
just like-
vegan. It says
even-
vegan on the jar.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah. It says
They
vegan.
yeah, but
probably
does
use
it have
vegan.
palm oil?
Oh, hang on a
Does it
minute.
have
Will it
palm
focus
oil?
in on that? Right, I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
get my glasses.
He'll be back. Okay, let me see what's the next question.
Okay,
Okay,
Michael
the next
Askew
one is
wants-
very easy.
Michael Askew wants to see glasses on Grumps.
Okay.
Oh, you look good.
Thank you.
You look so smart.
Yeah, you just gained like 50 IQ.
That is a miracle if they make me look smart. Gee.
I love it.
Right.
People are gonna start asking you for directions.
Oh, I still can't fucking see it.
Pardon me, sir. Pardon me, sir, but how do I get to the M1?
What the-
my God.
There's no way. No, there's no way. What's happened is. Stop laughing, Fanny. What's happened is, right, is that someone has been secreted on the label and made the white writing go dark, so I can't see it. But anyway, I'll Google it.
No,
Somebody is asking if you're not reading the super chat. Where's the super chat?
I did. Happy Easter Sunday 2024 to all who turned in here from Galway, Ireland, where today we put our clocks forward in the prime meridian time zone. Paul Campbell. Yeah. Today finally the prime meridian is changing and I'm happy about it.
Oh yeah, me
Yeah.
too. The time difference is hard.
Thank you,
Okay.
Holiday Vegan.
Last question for you, Grumpy. What is the song that you could listen for the rest of your life and repeat?
Oh. While I'm thinking of it, Jackie Boyle sent you a $9.99.
Yes!
Boy
super
with
chat.
3 green hearts of courage.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Jackie. Woohoo! I think that's the song I could hear for the rest of my life.
Triangles?
It's the thank you song.
The song I could listen to for the rest of my life is Blink 182, I Miss You.
Ooh,
Aw.
miss you. That one?
Yeah,
That's a good song.
I love
Like
it.
it.
Too.
And Bad Taste of Hell by Meatloaf.
Meatloaf, Bad Out of Hell.
Yeah, because it's really long.
That's
So-
what I did not expect either. I did not expect either.
I
of
love
those.
Meatloaf. Yeah, it reminds me of being in Italy in my first ever holiday. I went with the school. My mum and dad paid for me to go on holiday with the school. And it was on the jukebox every night because it was value for money because you got like 9 minutes of song for your lira.
That's pretty good. You get 9 minutes. What's that song by the Smiths? It's like I am the sun, I am the moon. The Smiths.
I'm miserable now.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Or there is a light that never goes out. Or this charming man. Or heaven knows I'm miserable now. Heaven knows I'm miserable now in my life. Oh, why do I give valuable time to people who I'd much rather kick in the eye?
I am the. There's a light that never goes out. Maybe
there is a light that never goes out. Yeah, if a double-decker bus kills the both of us, to die by your side is such a heavenly way to die.
Oh no, it's heaven knows I'm miserable now.
Heaven knows I'm miserable now.
Yeah, it's like 9. It's like 9 minutes long.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's funny because I remember.
How soon is now is brilliant.
Yeah, I am the sun, I am the air, I am the sun, I am the air.
Of a shyness that is criminally vulgar. You can't tell I used to listen to the Smiths all the time.
Yeah, I mean, he's got such great. I love his songs, and it's funny because I remember reading something that Morrissey said where he goes like, a great pop song is about 2.5 minutes long, no more. And it's like, wait a second, dude. Like your most famous song that gets the most radio airplay is 9 minutes long. But yeah.
It's so funny. Vegan Power Lab. I was gonna say my answer, and my answer was gonna be I could do anything for love. And it's so funny because
that's Meatloaf.
That's Meatloaf. Okay, well I didn't know. Sorry, but yeah, I was like
anything for love, but I won't do that.
I like playing this game, Random Stupid Questions, because when you really play the game, like I could name 50 songs that I like, but that's the first song that came to my head. I was like, why is this the first song that came to my head? It's not one of my favorites. It probably is, but yeah, it's just the first song that came. So I'm like, here we go.
That's funny. The first song that popped in my head was One More Time by Daft Punk.
Right?
One more time.
And it's maybe not your favorite song, but it's like, what's your favorite song? And you're like, whatever song comes, and you're like, I guess that's the one.
It's not my favorite song, but I always feel like that's a good song to dance to. I was like, what's a good song that always cheers me up and makes me want to dance? One more time. Yeah, I like that song.
Oh, somebody's saying Taylor Swift.
Blank Space. That's a good, but I know I'll write your name. I got a long list of Starbucks lovers. Yeah. Any color. Ooh, I Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd is definitely one of the good ones. Yeah. That was a long time. Marmite with truffles. The yeast is taking over. It was conspiring to take on the world. Yes.
I love it.
I just love it in a gold because it's gold as well. It's like in a gold.
Okay, so do you want to just play, since we're all here and we only have about 15 minutes left of the show, do you want to do the other game? Is that the last question? I'm sorry.
That was the last question.
Okay.
Thank you for those, Fanny Pierre.
Yeah, of course.
Do you want to do the other game real fast? It won't take very long.
Well, I've got nothing else to do really apart from like relax and like
right. So this is the
TV.
Game. Are you smarter than Fanny? my gosh, that's way bigger than I thought it would be. When you showed me
Oh,
the
you know
picture
what
of
you
that-
just reminded me of? There was a comedian called Julian Clary in the 80s. He's still going around, and he had Fanny the Super Dog as his companion on
He
stage.
did?
He was a comedian, yeah.
Oh my gosh, this made me laugh. I wanted to show it today because my friend Monica.
That's amazing. Where have you got that from?
It's my friend Monica. It was my birthday on Monday, and she was like, "Happy birthday!" And I'm like, "This is amazing," because my dog, I mean, Faye, our dog, has a pointy ear like this, always up like an antenna, and she made that thing specially for her.
Wow, you could really scare burglars with that if you just like got really loud bark noises and then throw that up at the window. It'd be like, Jesus Christ, we're not robbing that house.
What is this big dog? Yeah, and it's funny because my dog is like,
Yeah, the dog's bigger than your dog. The pillow's bigger than your dog.
yes, it is.
Yeah, I'm 2 weeks into college. I've been listening a lot. I don't know that song. Oh, you guys are talking about Pink Floyd. I saw who's the guy that's touring still from Pink Floyd, like something Waters, Roger Waters. maybe?
Roger Waters.
Yeah, I saw him live. Well, I saw like his a little bit of. I worked where he was playing, and it was pretty cool. But I haven't seen Pink Floyd. But I saw Roger Waters. It was pretty neat. He plays all the hits, you know. Wish you were here. All right, so here's the questions. What is the most? This is the bonus question. So we're going to start off with just what is the most euthanized breed of dog in America?
Oh, I
How am I
know
supposed
the
to know that?
That's okay.
The more
Pit bull.
euthanized.
Pit bull, yeah, it's the pit bull.
You didn't even give me a chance to answer.
But we can
He said
both answer. We can answer the same or we can answer differently.
Oh,
It
right,
doesn't matter.
okay.
But you can
Pit
say
bull.
whatever you. Pit bull,
Pit
yeah.
bull. Yeah, well, that was just a bonus question anyway. That is the theme of today. It is the pit bull and pit bull type breeds. There are a few of them. We're not going to go into each one, but the pit bull is the most euthanized animal because there is the number one myth about pit bulls that they have a what?
An aggressive personality? Is that
Aggressive, a violent gene.
People think actually that they have a lock jaw.
Oh, I've heard that before,
Jaw?
yeah.
Yeah, when I
Yeah,
was a kid, I
where they
thought
can
had a
lock onto you and it's
jaw.
impossible to pull the jaw apart. I've heard that before
Yeah,
about dogs.
not
Yeah,
true
it is
at
a
all.
scare tactic.
Yeah, it's completely untrue. Don't have a lock jaw. Like what the fuck? When I heard that, I was like, of course. Why would they have a lock jaw? Like they come from
what is
wolves
that even? I was like, yeah.
because it makes them more scary that they can bite you and never let go.
And never let go.
Like
It's a scare tactic, yeah, definitely.
yeah, like you'd have to cut their heads off like snapping turtles. Like they won't let go until you cut their heads off.
Oh, okay.
Like if a snapping turtle grabs you, supposedly maybe that's bullshit too. I don't know. But I was always told that if they get you, they don't let go until you kill them, and so you don't want to get bit by a turtle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
all right.
Okay.
So can you name one president who had a pit bull as a pet?
Lincoln.
No, Lincoln. I wonder if Lincoln
Reagan.
had a dog. Did Lincoln have a dog? I don't know. Did Abraham Lincoln have a dog?
I don't even know my presidents.
You would
Bush.
know-
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Bush.
no.
Bush.
I don't Schwarzenegger.
Bush?
I don't,
Which
I don't
Bush?
think he
Oh,
was,
yeah.
I don't
Oh,
think
no.
he was president.
Oh my
think he was-
God.
Oh, no, he was a mayor. He was a mayor. Right, okay.
He was a governor of California.
Ah,
So
right.
he was the president, but only of California.
Oh, okay.
Schwarzenegger. So Arnold, you know what's crazy? Abraham Lincoln did have a dog. He was a yellow mixed breed dog, and he was named Fido.
Yeah, you have a point. I
Yes.
No, it wasn't Abraham Lincoln. No, the only dog. So Teddy Roosevelt had a pit bull, and so did
I was going to say that.
and so did Woodrow Wilson.
It
Woodrow
was, on
Wilson.
it was on the tip of my tongue.
Teddy Roosevelt. Teddy Roosevelt was like a rough rider. He liked the gaminess of the dog. He was they're really dog. Okay, so this is one maybe you'll know. The Little Rascals had a pit bull. What was that pit bull's name?
Snuffy.
Close.
Fanny.
Really? Really? Funny?
I
Or
guess.
Fanny?
Fanny.
Fanny?
Cleveland? No. Oh, you're thinking Grover Cleveland. No, it was Teddy Roosevelt. Does anyone remember the name of the dog? Kane? No. The
Okay.
dog's name was
Rover.
Petey.
Petey. Well,
Petey
it's
the
not.
dog.
Are all these
Petey.
questions American-centric?
Baloney.
That's why none of us can answer.
Yeah.
Baloney? Baloney? Isn't that a
Baloney is the
sandwich?
name of the dog. No,
Isn't that a
baloney.
sandwich?
Karina loves
Baloney.
that movie, the Little Rascals, but they say his name a bunch of times. His name is Petey. All right.
Petey. Petey is
Okay.
kind of a stupid name, isn't it? Petey. Oh, Petey. Carrie never remembers.
Yeah, Petey's a stupid name, but yeah, what are you gonna do? Okay, last one. What Michael Vick owned how many pit bulls at the time of arrest? Michael Vick, of course, was the NFL quarterback who was convicted of running an illegal dog ring, and yeah. Sorry,
It's okay.
Grumpy.
You're smarter than me. You already got
Nine.
a
9.
Okay, no, not 9, but hold on. He was convicted of owning dogs, of pit bulls, and killing them and treating them horribly and running an illegal dog fighting ring with pit bulls. He had bait dogs. He drowned them. He went to jail for this, and he came back out and still had a job. They put him back into the NFL, and it was such a big deal that PETA led the lingerie thing, saying I'd rather go naked than go to NFL. Things like that. Women protested NFL, and it's one of the major reasons why today I do not support the NFL. How can someone who kills dogs come back to NFL and get a job? But Colin Kaepernick, who took a stand against police brutality against black people, he's fired and can never have a job again.
Yeah.
So this makes me sickening. It makes me so sick.
It
so,
is.
how many dogs do you think he owned at the time of his arrest? It was more than 9.
I would say 25.
Okay.
15.
It was 51.
What?
Yes.
51? Where would he even put them?
He had some land out in Virginia, I think, and he had a lot of these are bait dogs. You know, the dogs that aren't fighters are trained to get they train the fighting dogs by putting the small dogs that aren't good fighters, and they get ripped to shreds, and so they can't be rescued either. So, but they did rescue 34 of them. 16 were euthanized. 34 were saved. 30 of them were retrained, and 4 of them were actually are now therapy dogs. 4 of them are therapy dogs, but they were all they were able to keep 34 of them alive, and so actually 17 of them were euthanized. Guess who euthanized them? So, you know, when things like that happen, they break up these mega rings. It's usually when a sheriff comes and they find these dog fighting rings. We're not talking. The reason why I think this is so important is like we're not talking about a few dogs. We're talking about hundreds of dogs sometimes. Michael Vick was a small operation, and he had 51 dogs when he was arrested, which means he probably had more. He had killed many of them. Yeah. So
Terrible.
yeah, which is again back to where I think that all animals should not be bred, but yeah, it's horrible. We tend to think, oh well, dogs are treated well. They're not treated well. Dogs are treated horribly in this country and
Do you
everywhere
know
else.
that? You know that dog that bit me that you said that it didn't bite me in Thailand.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you said it bit you in the face, and I was worried about you.
It did bite me in the face.
Yeah, but
He did bite me.
You
In
made
the
me really
face?
genuinely worry about you. From
No,
my
he didn't.
heart.
No, but right. So those 2 dogs were in the house next door, and they were kept in a small cage with no room to walk, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And the owners were some of the Thai mafia, and I forgot what her name is. What Tony takes them out. Tony takes them out. Hey, Tony takes them out, right? And that dog, when it jumped up at me, I think it was just greeting me, but it didn't know how to greet because this dog had been kept in a cage 24/7 from being a little puppy, and they were breeding them, yeah? And what he did, it actually got me there and there. That's
my
how much of its jaw was in my mouth, in its mouth.
Oh my god!
And but he didn't bite down. He sort of jumped up and went like that, and then dropped.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a friendly gesture, but because he's not in a
human,
natural surrounding, he didn't know how to react properly. You know, so yeah, these animals. They're any animals that are violent, that are vicious, are only the results of the people who rear them.
Absolutely. If I hear about a bear attacking a human, it's not the bear's fault. It's the human doing the wrong thing at the wrong time. It's never the bear's fault. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, we've been living with Faye, our dog, for the past now 4.5 months, and whenever we put her little harness and all to go outside, she starts shaking. She doesn't even know why she's shaking, and we keep thinking that that's like because someone outside of our house or something like abused her, because every time in the house she feels completely fine. Every time we put the harness on her, she's like shaking like this, and she's not controlling that. It's just a automatic body reaction, and I'm just like, I wonder what happened.
Yeah.
It's it's people.
Nerds like us wants to know if you're going to be protesting the RSPCA.
Am I going to be protesting the RSPCA? I don't really see the point of it. It's not going to change anything. You know, the best way to do it is to reach people online, as many people as you can, expose it. I don't think standing outside and shouting at the RSPCA is really going to do anything. It's one of those organizations that's been around forever.
Yeah.
And it's one of those organizations that can justify itself. I mean, I'd say that the RSPCA, they sort of like, they try and cancel it out with the good that they do, the rescuing of the animals. You know, the first thing you do in the UK when you see a swan on the motorway or a dog, or you ring the RSPCA. So they do a lot of good, but that what they do, that we found out, is like, whoa, that is just like really out there. And it reminds me of something else. I think it was the lifeboat. Didn't we talk about it, Sky? The lifeboat. They held a fundraising event for the lifeboat, this lifeboat station in the UK. And when they found out it was a fox hunting group that had raised the money, they refused the money. They not want the money back. So I don't see where I'm going with this, but yeah, I just feel like the RSPCA, the only way really is to shame them online, shouting outside their offices, protests and everything. They'll gain momentum for a little while and then they'll die off. And yeah, I think the best way is to hit them where it hurts and reach as many people as you can. Start petitions, which I've signed quite a few now. But yeah, it's a really tricky one when it comes to organizations like that.
Yeah, these organizations, they seem so entrenched in our culture and society, it's hard to even think about trying to change them. I don't know. The pressure seems like it might work. I don't know. I don't want to. Who knows?
I've never dissed any sort of protests, but to me, protests are sort of like very short-lived way of doing something. It's like
if you can maintain it, like I feel like the anti-fur protests against Max Mara or Louis Vuitton, if we just keep going, or look at SeaWorld, or we've had some things where protest works.
Yeah. I'm not saying they don't work. I mean, you've got to the Black Lives Matter campaigns and everything. Yeah, it's a whole, it's mass, and it's a very small sort of circle of people, and it seems that it's everyone in the vegan bubble that is concerned about it, and this is the problem we have. Of course, all activism is important, definitely.
Yeah. I like some protests, especially ones that the pressure campaigns that can sustain themselves. My problem with like things like the RSPCA seems difficult to like. Maybe it'll work because it's England only. Maybe they'll do something different.
I think plugging the film Pignorant is the way forward with that, because it exposes the truth there, and that is a very important movie. Me being in it aside has nothing to do with it, but that investigation and what they exposed about the RSPCA is very eye-opening. And I think the way forward is to get as many people to watch that as possible. And when it comes off Amazon Prime and it goes on to general release, someone puts it on YouTube, then we just fire it everywhere and everybody can see it. But people need to be exposed to that. People shouting outside the RSPCA. It's like me when I walk past and I see a protest about the Israel problem, Palestine, and they're outside Barclays Bank because Barclays Bank, and they're all shouting. I've no interest in going over seeing what it's all about. I just walk right past, because it's not.
Yeah, but it's not really for the individual. It's for Barclays, and I guess like that's the question: will Barclays change and be embarrassed? Yeah, probably. Will RSPCA? Can we shame them? Can we shame them into changing through protest? I wonder about that, and because we have seen success, and I hope that I wish that there would be success. But you won't be going out and doing it as the answer. And
but your key word was sustainability, and I don't think it's sustainable with the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're getting on the news. Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all. I'm just thinking it's not going to be sustainable, and it will die away.
Yeah, but the movie will live on, and I think that you're absolutely right. Like the protests might wither or come down. Look at what's happened with fur. I think fur is a great example because when I was a kid, fur protests, that was like what veganism was as far as I knew about any like animal rights at all. It was fur protests. Any kind of fur protest. That's what everybody would talk about. Sometimes vivisection, but usually it's fur. And it kind of went away as far as I could tell. I didn't really see it anymore. And now I see it a lot more. I've done them now, and it's because fur's making a comeback. It kind of goes away and it comes back. I'm hoping that we can change organizations like the RSPCA, because I would love to see something like that in America, man. Like the motion pictures animals. I hate the animals were not harmed during the course of the film. Bullshit. And that organization, I think, should be shamed. But will they respond to shame?
That's a question.
Difficult. I like when protests are associated with actual pressure towards the company. So, for example, if they receive phone calls, emails on top of the protest, comments online, because then it's like a constant pressure. Because the people who don't, I don't know, if you're doing a protest at an Apple store against Apple, it's one store around the thousands of stores that they have. So what do they care, But if the main Apple place, like the Apple headquarters, receives emails and letters and phone calls and everything, then that becomes intrusive. It's inside the house. I feel like when you do things that touch people inside the company, then it becomes being like a pressure. It takes your time, your energy, and all of that.
The social media ones seem to work, man. Like, goddamn, every time when Jess sent that thing out about the Fraggle is coming back to Apple TV, and he was like, please comment here. Man, every comment was about ostrich feathers, and I thought that was wonderful. It felt good, and it just felt like, damn, they must be so pissed that they can't even put a thing out to promote this.
See, this is the thing, and that's the alternative, with the RSPCA, is it'd be more effective if we look out for RSPCA adverts and hit them. We mass email them, we harass them where it hurts, which is them trying to build this image around themselves. And that's the best thing we can possibly do.
Yeah. So the reason why I didn't say American Humane Association was because we also have the ASPCA. So the American Humane Association is usually about the humane treatment of animals other than farm animals. And the ASPCA is the American Society for the Protection of, what's it? RSPCA and ASPCA. We have the ASPCA, which does like some rescue, some stamping of stuff. And I wanted to ask you a question, though, completely. It's related, but my last question for you, Dan, because we got to Sunday school's got to end at some point.
Yeah, yeah.
So TikTok, it's gonna get banned in America, which means that England might ban it too. You're a TikToker. How do
Mhm.
you feel about this? And how do you feel about being a vegan on TikTok at all?
I'm devastated because I was on Jack's TikTok live the other yesterday,
Jack
and
Higgs.
sorry,
Jack Higgs?
vegan soldier, vegan something
Oh,
else.
that guy. What's his name?
Yeah,
English. Yeah, UK British old Jack. Fuck, I forget his last name now.
yeah, I
But,
forgot his last name.
okay.
But yeah, the amount of non-vegans in the chat roasting him was amazing, and that's great. That's what we want. And to me, it's one of the best platforms I've ever used for activism, because this isn't going. There isn't shitloads of non-vegans in your chat, Sky.
I'm not a channel for non-vegans, so that's.
Yeah, but they can join if they want. You can't stop them. You know.
I can ban them, but this isn't my.
Okay, let me rephrase it. My channel. I don't get the audience I want to speak to. I don't want to speak to vegans.
Yeah,
I do want to speak to vegans. I want to promote vegans. I want to help vegans. I want to, show that vegans can be normal and not hippie sandal wearing, tree hugging, like
But you think
peace
the way
sign.
through that. But the way through that is, but you can go live on vertical now, and it goes into people's random feed like TikTok on YouTube. These types of these types of long.
No, I've never seen anything like TikTok in my life. The engagement you get is unbelievable, and it's almost instantaneous. It's an amazing platform for getting to non-vegans. And when I used to do the lives outside the gas chamber, oh my God, I had 500-600 people on it at any one time, and it was just like they were listening to those screams, and those screams would have resonated with them when they went to bed that night, and then they'd come on the week after and they'd hear the screams again, and then eventually it will get to them. It will twist the brains. It will open new pathways and neurons to make them think about these animals as anything else but a sandwich or a coat, or so it's like.
But won't something take its place? I mean, won't all these people go on all the people that are now on TikTok, they'll go to some place like YouTube Shorts or Instagram.
There'll be some other manifestation of it somewhere along the line, but I don't think the US will ban it, and I don't think the UK will ban it. I don't think it'll get banned.
We're halfway to a ban. Like we're
halfway. You're not there yet.
We're really close.
Yeah, but you're not there yet.
The president said he would sign it into law, and the Senate is talking about it. That is.
I don't think it will, because I thought America was all about free speech. What's the problem?
We're not for, that Facebook, Google are all regulated and unable to do any kind of business in China. They do not want the same to be. Let's face it. They say it's about freedom of speech. They say it's about our information, that the Chinese government's taking our information. Whether or not that's true or false, I don't know, but that's what they're using. But would you wouldn't let a data collector from China put an antenna up in our neighborhoods?
You've only got to say something and say, "Oh, I like the look of that. I like the look of that vase over there," and then within minutes you're getting Facebook ads for vases. Well, they're all doing it. They're all taking our information. They're all doing it.
Yes, of course they are. But wouldn't you? But the question is, those are American companies, and they answer to American lawmakers. A Chinese company does not. That's the truth, man. Like they don't.
It's not the truth. You don't know who's having your information. You have no idea what's going on.
It is kind of scary that they're able to resell my information and stuff like that. Absolutely. But the question is, do they want a Chinese government, a Chinese company is allowed to do that in America, but American companies aren't allowed to do that in China? You think that's a fair trade? How come American companies like Facebook can't do that in China?
Chinese person now is like, some Chinese data collector is looking at my file now and thinking, fuck me, this man's boring.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
I think the data thing is probably bullshit. I think the real thing is Chinese companies coming to America can make billions of dollars and take it back to China, but American companies can't go to China and do the same. And I think that's bullshit. If we could take TikTok, they could take Facebook, but they won't take Facebook. They won't let their kids near Facebook. but yet
but look how many Chinese companies have infiltrated the US anyway, and are all over the place. All right, it's not a data collection, but it's it's a bit like it's
I was
if it
wondering,
doesn't suit
why do
us.
they focus on that one? I agree with you. Why do they focus on that one when so many
Hawaii.
other?
Well, because of who the money's going to and what they're able to do with something like.
Do you have Chinese cars in the US? Do you have Chinese cars? No Chinese cars in the US at all.
Clothing, like half of the clothing that are in all the stores here
made
that
in
are
China
sold.
by American companies.
Yeah, but they're still making a lot of money from that.
That crap mustache was made in China that you've got on your lip.
Yeah, they make them in China, but American companies ship and distribute them, so they have to answer to American laws. A digital product is different than a physical product. A physical product has to come from China, go through the tariff process, go through the import process. Everyone gets their cut. The taxes are collected. Everything happens.
Yeah, but what everything happens before it enters in the hands of the American company doesn't obey the same American laws, because children being used in these big
totally
like that's not an American law. So it starts from the moment that the product is made and given to an American company, but that's just not. So I understand.
Well, the American company places the order, right? The American company places an order for false mustaches, and the Chinese company makes it. The factory makes it. Now, it still has to face the same like FDA regulations and all the other type of consumer protection stuff that we have. And we've run into problems like that. Like China has made dog food and it's made toys, and they both had lead in them, and there was a big hullabaloo because American companies were using China to make dog food and certain toys, and they had lead. That was a big deal. Do you remember? And because we've run into those issues before. But right now, but that's how the system worked. We were like, holy shit, there's lead, and we were able to regulate that. You can't regulate something that's digital, and they want to. That's a question whether or not they should, and I'm not saying whether or not they should, but a digital product is different. Going into you and saying we're going to have this agenda being pushed is perfectly possible.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
So you can't regulate those kind of products, digital products. You can't regulate them.
We can't regulate them because they're being made by because it's being governed by a company that doesn't respond to American laws.
So, I mean, you've got YouTube, you've got Instagram, you've got Facebook, you've got all these others. You've no idea where all that information is going. You don't know who's privy to that information.
Well, that's why I think the information data mining thing is a bullshit argument. I don't think that's why they're doing it. I think they're doing it because China's not playing ball.
Because it's China.
Yeah.
It's interesting that they can't personalize the law, because for example Amazon, if you want to order off of Amazon in America, it's amazon.com. If you want to order off Amazon in France, it's amazon.fr. If you want to order, so they have to do each Amazon, even though it's Amazon, based on which country they're serving. So I'm very surprised. And also I've seen, I don't know if it's true, but I've seen videos saying that the version of TikTok that the Chinese kids have is not the same version of TikTok that we have.
It's like broccoli versus junk food. Yeah.
So how can they have different versions, but somehow the American government cannot regulate the version that is accessible to Americans?
Well, that's what they're trying to do. They're regulating it in such a way, saying you either need to sell it to an American company or get banned because we don't believe what you're doing with our data, first of all, and we don't believe what you're doing when it comes to pushing certain agendas.
And you don't think there's a way around once they do ban it? You don't think there's no way anybody will get access to it?
Well, I mean, it's the internet; they'll still get access to it.
Of course, they will. So it's a nonsensical. I don't think it'll ever happen.
They won't be able to distribute it. They won't be able to distribute the newest version. We'll be all stuck with this version forever.
Maybe not, because when I was okay, so I took a camp, a social media camp recently, and a lot of people were from Ukraine, were from Russia, and they were like, "Well, how do I do? Because right now I cannot have TikTok, blah blah blah." And so what they were doing is they were buying a card, a phone
Hmm.
card. So we would have to all go to Mexico, buy a Mexican card, put it in our phones, and then TikTok believes you're Mexican, and now you can have TikTok.
But is anybody gonna do that shit? It's the whole point of
Yes,
TikTok. I don't.
everybody who was in Russia was like, "Well, I'm going to Romania or I'm going to Bulgaria and I'm buying a card and then I'm coming back to Russia and I'm on TikTok from my Bulgarian Romanian card."
When
That's what they were
anything,
doing.
when any record, when any film is banned by any government, everybody wants it and goes and does anything to get that film or get that record.
Everybody's gonna
It
get a
makes it even
Canadian
more
or
popular. Yeah, exactly.
everybody's gonna get a Canadian or a VPN. Everybody's gonna get a VPN and be
VPN,
like,
exactly.
"Ah, I'm using my phone from this other place," and they'll have TikTok anyway. So
So
it's not.
I don't think it'll happen, Sky. I really don't.
I don't know if they can make it happen. It's just not.
Well, they could pass the law banning it, and that would control all phone carriers and everybody else saying you can no longer distribute this app. This app. So maybe they'll get VPNs on their phones, but I think that's a hassle. The reason why I don't think that'll happen, Fanny, is because I my understanding of TikTok and the reason why it's popular is because it's taken like what just like what Dan said, you don't have to produce a YouTube show, you don't have to produce a YouTube channel. You just have to turn on your phone and go. It's like a democratization of content, at least ostensibly, because they're still deciding who sees what. And I think that's so like we've seen it happen where certain opinions have been pushed on TikTok and they're pushing it to certain people like pro Palestine or pro Israel or pro Ukraine or pro Russia, or try finding something that's critical of the Chinese government on TikTok. Try finding something critical of the Chinese government
I'll
on
start
TikTok.
creating that now. I'm going to start creating
Yeah,
anti-Chinese TikTok videos and see what happens.
yeah.
Have you
Jinping.
seen? Have you seen that now on Instagram? You have to go push a certain parameter to not. How does it say? So right now, automatically, Instagram sets a preference that every phone doesn't want to see political content, and
Really?
if you want to see, I had to do the thing on my phone 2 days ago. If you want to see political content, you have to select something in political content, view political content, and you have to say it.
So you
But
have to opt in. You have to
you have
opt
to
in.
opt in. Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. So
But
it
what does it
automatically
mean as
removes.
political what is political content? That's so crazy. What is political content? Is what we're doing right now
I'm
political
not.
content?
I guess it is.
Like when
Let me see what it
Joey
is.
Carbstrong says, support Palestine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
things like
that's
that.
political content, right?
Yeah.
So is he like? Yeah, I didn't like that. I don't think that that should be something that's a vegan on a vegan channel. Like I don't know.
I'm trying to see where it was. I'll tell
I
you if I
choose
find it
peace.
again. Choose peace.
Right, listen, I need to go to bed, guys, because I'm up at 5 a.m. tomorrow.
My
It's
goodness.
in content preferences, and it says political content, and you have to go get it.
Content preferences. Holy shit. Luckily, I hardly use Instagram. I use Instagram to talk to people. I just want to focus on YouTube, man. I'm sick of like all these other ones. YouTube has always come through for the creator. YouTube is always like, yeah, we're going to take our cut, but we always have a way for you to make money. We always have a way for you to reach more people. We're always working on getting your stuff out there. We're
Yeah.
trying to
So
find your.
what's it? What? Which bit is it on?
So you go to your three little lines, and
Yeah.
then you go to at the bottom. Damn it, where was it? Content preferences in under what you see.
What you see.
What you see. Favorites, muted account, content preferences. Do you see that?
It might be different in the UK too because it's not an election year there.
So you are in settings and activity, and then you go down under for professionals, under who see your content, under how other can interact with you. You go into what you see, and there you have content preferences. You click content preferences, and then you have political content. Don't limit political content from people you don't follow.
Wow.
Wow, wow. Website permissions, supervision.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't seem to account status. Oh, I'll have to find it.
It
Yeah.
might not be on the UK one. I mean, honestly, it could be because we're having an election year, and
Yeah, it
last
could
time
be.
Facebook got screwed because they were infiltrated by Russian bots, if you don't remember, in
That's right.
2018.
Right. Well, listen, it's been nice to speak
Thank
to you,
you so
Sky.
much.
Likewise.
It's
I
nice
think
to see you, Fanny, and nice to meet you.
it turns out you are not smarter than Fanny. Goodbye. That was Grumpy Vegan Granddad.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Well, tomorrow I'm traveling to Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I can't wait. It's going to be such a treat.
What
And
are your shows tomorrow?
tomorrow I am going to be on at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. for the wake up call. 6 p.m. for the
Yeah, but
after dark.
that's your schedule. So what is it in ET? Oh, it's ET.
GMT. GMT is midnight because finally they're on the same schedule as me. Midnight GMT and midday GMT. I'll be on
Okay. So
live.
when you say 6 p.m., it's ET, Eastern time.
No, I'm in
6
Central Time now.
Central time. Okay.
That's why I try to use GMT because my time I knew I was going to go from Eastern to Central and eventually to Pacific, but Mountain, I'll be in Central and then Mountain eventually. I don't know.
We'll
Mountain
see.
time.
We'll see.
I like ours are Eastern, Central, Mountain, and Pacific.
I like it.
I don't know what they do. Europe doesn't have fun ones like that. They don't have like German time. They just have like GMT -4 or whatever, -1.
Yeah. No, we don't have special names for times.
No,
It's
you
just-
know, we got special names in America: Eastern,
it.
Central, Mountain, and Pacific.
Pacific.
Well, we have 3.
Yeah. Well, your country is so big. That's also
It is.
I guess maybe Russia has special time that I don't even know.
Oh, I want to know if Russians have special names for their time zones.
Maybe they do.
China, maybe they've got special names.
Maybe. I don't
Oh,
know.
now I need to find out. I wonder if
I
I can be
imagine,
the
yeah.
person that
I
tells
imagine
me.
if you isn't there also Central Europe time or something like that? I
I
don't
was
know.
just GMT plus whatever.
Yeah, I
in
feel
Europe.
like they have Central Europe time. I
And that's
think
like
they do.
Germany, Italy.
Yeah, Belgium,
Mm.
France, Switzerland. I think
That's all GMT +1 or whatever, right? Or GMT +2.
Yes,
I
yes,
don't know.
yes.
Because
How long
France
do you-
and Belgium is +1, Germany's +3, I think. I don't know.
Okay.
How long
Is-
do you ban vegans for speaking up against other vegans using animals? Says Vegan Han. I don't do that at all. It's a no pet policy. All right. That's our team. No pet policy. We have a no pet policy. Oh wait, here we go. Zones in Russia.
Oh,
Oh, this is
wow.
UTC. What's UTC?
Universal time.
Oh, that's probably GMT.
Yeah, I think it's GMT.
Oh, UTC. Universal Time Code or something. Time Center. Mm.
I don't know.
MSK. Moscow. That's
Yeah.
great. Awesome.
Wow.
All right. This is okay. UTC is the same as GMT. Awesome.
Yeah.
Universal Time Coordinated. UTC.
Coordinated.
UTC sounds like a
Like a yeast infection.
yes. It sounds like a lady's difficulty or something.
Something related to your genitalia.
Yeah, something or like birth control or something.
Yes, it
I got
does.
my UTC in. I got my UTC. Went to a doctor and got a UTC, coordinated
Okay.
university CUT, cut.
On these good words. On these really
UTI.
good words. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. Thank you for playing with us to these games, and thank you for all your funny answers. Thank you,
Thank you
Sky.
for everything. Thank you. We didn't even play the theme song, so now we're gonna have a theme song. Thank you everyone for coming to Sunday school, and see you tomorrow. Bye. Bisous, bisous.
Vegan Sunday School. This channel's just for you.
Thank you, Jackie Boyle. Thank you, Paul Campbell.
Just for vegan.